Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another commentary on one of the All-Star games. And this is going to be the fourth game in the set between C and Stork. I am Moletrap, and I'm here with Cholera. We did game two with Diggity, but he had to go, so we're going to be doing this game ourselves. Cholera did game three on his own account by himself, so if you haven't seen that game, you can go watch that. And for that matter, Diggity is going to be doing game one later on this evening, a little bit out of order, but nonetheless, they're all going to get done by the three of us at some point in the next day or so. So in any case, here we go. Starting off, and we're going to let's see what the colors are real quick. So C is going to be in teal at the top right-hand corner of the map, and that means that Stork is going to be in brown at the bottom left-hand corner of the map, and this is on Blue Storm. We're going to be seeing a nice little TVP on Blue Storm. We've been actually seeing some pretty good Terran versus Protoss games on this map lately. The likes of Flash versus Jangbi, very very epic on this map, and some others as well. So yeah, Caller, I understand there's a little bit of history between these two players that you were talking about before.
Oh yeah, Stork I was gonna say 4GG, but I'll talk about it later. Stork and C have actually played 9 times, and Stork has won 8 out of these 9 times, although 5 of the games were from a while back. But I really don't know if there's much of a rivalry between Stork and C. I think both of them are just solid. I would call them A-class players. Definitely good Pro League players. C, of course, has never really gotten that far. And one thing that Diggity is now making me making me notice is that C evidently looks like he's either under some stress or just perhaps just sweating a lot recently. He just looks kind of like disheveled. Diggity's words were that he's actually using drugs, but I don't know if I'd go so far to say he's using drugs, but he's playing quite well recently. I don't really. Can't really say much fault in his games, just as I guess his personal etiquette has been a bit lacking. But Flash's etiquette was quite lacking too back when he was kicking ass. In any case, so looks like neither player has gone for an early scout, so no gas steal from Stork, which is quite common sometimes on Blue Storm. And looks like Stork is going to go for a standard Cybernetics core build. No fast Nexus for him. That is kind of difficult to pull off on this map. And C looks like he's going to be going for a standard factory opening here. One thing to note, though, is that as Moletrap was saying, there's been some exciting games, and Stork defeated 4GG handily on this map in the, I think, World Cyber Games qualifiers. I casted that game, and Stork actually 4GG put tanks at that annoying little position where you can shell the Nexus through the center of the map, and he lost his natural and yet still managed to come back and win with just absolutely stellar play. So I think that's a sign of Stork's just his renewed ability, or perhaps just the fact that he still can play very, very well against Terrans. And so I have to say, I'm going to give Stork an advantage here from the beginning. I'm going to favor Stork here to win, also partially due to the record these two players have. Looks like C also just checking for a proxy inside of his base. It's always a smart thing to do as any player on Blue Storm, as any race really. You just want to make sure there's nothing hidden there. And he's going to be opening it up with a factory here.
Right, and apologies, I don't, Caller, I don't think you noticed it, but from my end, and I'm doing the recording for this commentary, your audio went on crack for a little bit there, and was going what over and over again. So just
sorry about that.
I know that people have already left comments about that on this video in the 10 seconds that it's been, but apologies nonetheless. I do favor Stork as well. I was gonna say actually, before you kind of went back and said that Stork had the advantage, that I personally consider Stork in a class above C. C, he's really, really good in Pro League and what have you, but you can't really count on him in a lot of situations. Stork, at least, even though he's become the new king of second place, he still can get to the finals match. And C has never gotten past, I don't think, the round of 8. He just kind of always chokes at that high level. And, you never want to count Stork out, even against the top players. He's capable of beating. He's one of the few people that has always been capable of beating the top players. When Savior was at his prime, the only Protoss players that could beat him were Bisu and Nalra and Stork. And when Flash was at his prime, the only Protoss player that could beat him was Stork.
Sorry, I just said. Yeah. Sorry about that.
I just saw that your audio didn't come through on that.
Oh, yeah, I was just noting that C was running that something Gosu. I don't know if he was referring to Stork or not. Anyway, sorry. Were
Oh,
you?
okay.
Do you want me to continue?
Go for it.
Yeah, yeah, Stork, yeah, I'm sorry, C has gone for sort of a fake double here. That's what I like to call it. He's making it seem like he is going to go for the FD build into Fast Expand by building those Marines and that first tank, but in reality, he actually has two factories, so it's a fake double, and this is actually quite a good illusion he set up here. Because he did build that factory in the corner of his base, and now he's floated it to the high ground at the 12 o'clock location. He could be building some vultures. I think what he would probably do is build some vultures, and he could be setting up a mine trap as we speak right now, or in a few seconds, he'll be setting up a mine trap in the center of the map and trying to push Stork into it. And this is something that's can be done on Blue Storm to devastating effect. And yeah, we are seeing the vultures out for C right now, and he's probably going to be upgrading vulture mines first. Of course, to Stork, it looks like he's going for a standard fast expand here, and he's really going to have no idea there's mines that are going to come down. And yeah, I would agree that definitely Stork is a lot more reliable. I mean, every once in a while he comes to show us that he's despite being the dinosaur toss, he is not extinct at all. And C though has gotten two vultures inside of Stork's base. Very nice move there. And now his proxy has been discovered, but he's going to pick off a number of probes here. And I think this might be able to be enough to equalize actually to put him in the lead here in this game so far.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of Stork's economy here, and Stork has gone for an expansion. So he may be able to still take the economic lead in the long run. But in the meantime, Stork coming in here and taking out, I don't know what happened to all the Marines, but they've been slowly killed off by Dragoons. One tank goes down, the other is very badly hurt there. Still no mines upgraded. Oh, no, there's the mines. Sorry, mines just finished upgrading there, and they're going to take out those Dragoons. Nicely done by C. Jesus, that mine blowing up the last of those tanks. And I wish I could read exactly what they were saying there. But very nicely done on C's part there. He didn't end up putting the mines in the middle there, but he's going to be using them to good effect now. And I think that was really nice for him going in there. It's funny. I wonder if these guys actually, I think these guys actually watch our commentaries, because it was just the other day that I saw someone doing an FD Terran, and I'm like, hey, you know what they should do? They should do a fake, fake double Terran. And, of course, people quickly commented and told me, oh, Cholera already suggested that in a different video that I hadn't seen. But nonetheless, I said that, and here we see C doing it exactly. And again, just the other day, Psionic Reaver did a Dark Archon rush on one of his games. And then the very next day, who was it? Oh, yeah, on Battle.net Attack, Firebat Hero did a Dark Archon rush after Psionic Reaver did his. So I'm pretty sure that these programmers must be watching our commentaries to find out new things to try out. It seems to be the case. C, in the meantime, though, is shelling Stork's base. If he can take down that Nexus, I think that will actually be curtains for Stork, because it's a really vulnerable spot for Protoss to get shelled on this map. And I'm surprised Stork didn't do something about it a little bit earlier. He's going to have a little bit of a tough time attacking here. And he brings in some Dragoons to try and shell over the ridge, or try and attack over the ridge, but a little bit late. But he does manage to save that Nexus, so he may still be able to get some economic advantages out of this yet. And in the meantime, C has expanded, so both players kind of going out of... Oh, wait, no! A couple more hits on that Nexus is going to take it down. He's still behind. He's in a spot. Let's see, will he be able to... The SCV goes into spot! The tanks take down the Nexus! The Nexus goes down! Stork withdrew his Dragoons, and for that one moment, that was all that C needed to go in and finish it off. C has taken a huge advantage of this game now. He's running his tanks back. He's just going to shell up and use his now giant economic advantage to just build up some forces, I think, and demolish Stork in the long run.
Yeah, I think that was a really good move there by C, and I agree with you entirely about them watching our builds. I think they definitely are subscribed, and it's probably part of the routine to check out Clazart, Moletrap, Diggity, Cholera, and the other SC2GG commentators. Probably their coaches tell them to do that. Of course, for those of you who've been watching my videos, I've been always advocating 2 hatchery lurkers and lurker rush, because it's the only thing I know how to do in StarCraft in the entire game, and Luxury has been doing it just left and right recently against Terrans and just kicking ass with it. So now we're seeing some more chat here. I agree with you, Moletrap. I don't think there's any way Stork can come back. Stork actually, interesting enough, picking up... Oh, so he's going for a double expand. He really needs to make some room here, make up for some lost ground here, and unless he... I don't even know what a Protoss could do at this point. I mean, unless he goes for some crazy like Reaver harass, or I don't even think that's possible. But yeah, basically C is going to win this game 99% of the time, unless he really is using drugs and starts having some like bad flashback at this point, in which case he will lose because he'll just probably collapse and OD on his table. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see how long Stork manages to stay, and who knows? He could pull off some kind of crazy Pimpus play in this game.
If anyone can pull it off, I think Stork can. But unfortunately, I was going to say, well, maybe if he gets some Reavers, he could do some Leap Reaver Micro. But those two Goliaths, I think, are going to make that not as much of a possibility here. Yeah, so Stork, I think he basically, he realized that he was way behind. He took a gamble by double expanding, and he's just basically hoping that somehow he can manage to, loses the Observer. Somehow he can manage to hold out long enough to get those expansions up and running, that he can actually put up a good fight in the late game. Because yeah, if C decides to move in the next few minutes, if he actually pushes this home, there's not much Stork can do about it at this point. C just has too many tanks coming out, and like I said, those Goliaths, they're going to prevent any sort of leech shuttle tricks from pulling off a day-saving move. So it's going to be really difficult for Stork to come back. But again, if anyone can do it, I think Stork can. I've seen him come back from even actually in the OSL before Flash came out and started beating everyone. Stork was in a really bad situation against Flash on this map and came out with just some absolutely ridiculous shuttle micro and was able to complete. Even though there were Marines camped underneath his shuttle, he just calmly maneuvered them around and destroyed the tanks with Zealots and Reavers, and came back from a very, very bad position. So it's been done before. That may not have actually been as bad as this is now, but this is actually kind of a mid-game, so it's kind of a different situation. But now I'm rambling. But the point is that I think Stork might be able to pull it off. We'll have to see, though.
Stork has gotten his Dragoons in an advantageous position there in between the two forces. Unfortunately for him, C doesn't seem to care. He's going to shell that natural expansion once again, and I think he's already doing a lot of damage. So here comes Stork's Gambit here. He's moved his Dragoons into a position in between the main forces of Stork. Now, will he be able to do enough damage with these Dragoons? Can he first break the line? Looks like he's managed to break the tank line here, but he needs to get in and do severe damage before the forces return here to be able to take out C. And looks like he's finally stopped his natural expansion from being shelled to death. So that's a little bit of an advantage. He can't expand because of that mine over there, but he might be going for just a snipe here. Looks like no, he's going to try to fight off these forces with his Dragoons. His Dragoons might be caught though inside of it. Yeah, they're going to get caught on the right side of the map there. So really, Stork can just throw them away. No, looks like whoa, fighting retreat there. Long march there, getting 6 Dragoons left. So Stork, I don't know if he'd managed to do enough damage. He certainly did push C back though a little bit, which is quite a feat there, because now I don't see any teal forces in the middle of the map. So he's basically forced Seal to go back to his second expansion there and defend from that point. C also has a science facility up, probably for the upgrades, and unfortunately for Stork, now I see some tag. I see a Citadel going up and now a Forge, but really with just Dragoon Micro and Speedlots, he's not going to be able to handle this kind of late game Terran army that's going to come out pretty soon. So I think it was a good gambit, but I still have to solidly 99% chance give this game to C right now.
I don't know. I think it's more like along the lines of 80%. I don't know. You could be right. I do think that C does have the advantage here, but Stork is coming back. And critically, I think something that's interesting to note is during that whole thing, he lost only like 4 Dragoons during all that. And how many tanks did he take out? He took out 4 or 5 tanks and a few SCVs during that whole thing, and saved his natural by drawing the forces out of the middle. So I don't think that was quite as bad as it could have been, and it was a pretty good move in general here. But yeah, once C really bunkers up with he's got a lot of tanks coming out now, and now he's returning to the middle of the map. Now Stork is really going to have to deal with this army head on, and that's going to be basically the true test, is if he can actually deal with this main army of C's instead of just running around and trying to pick off reinforcements and what have you. It looks like Stork actually might be setting up for a bit of a flank in that regard. I thought he was going to flank and go from both sides of the army in the middle. Actually, he may still do that. It looked for a moment as if he was going to try and take out the bottom right base, but C has canceled it. C has canceled that base, and Stork, observing that with his aptly named observer, as mana. Oh, Jesus, that mine did a lot of damage on those units. But he saw that the expansion went down and decided not to send his forces that way after all. And I'm not sure what he's doing now exactly. He's sending forces up to the top left.
Oh
Oh,
man.
okay, after these vultures. So just a lot of ins and outs going on right now. A lot of forces all over the map. And C, once again, setting up in the middle here. I'm not sure why he withdrew his forces from the middle before. But he's setting up back in the middle. So things kind of returning to the usual stalemate after all.
That was a really nice vulture harass. It's just getting cleaned up by Stork right there. But that's exactly what Terrans, need to do in the mid game here. When you got in that position in the center of the map, you're getting your economy. You probably have a big advantage, but you need to press that home with more and more vulture harasses. Of course, Nada, when he was getting his start, was very, very good with them. That's why partially why they call him the Tornado Terran. He's just so good with getting those vultures around your forces, using them as the cavalry of his army and just harassing. As we saw there, I think C took down at least, 4 or 5 zealots and definitely forced Stork to go do the runaround there with just a couple of vultures. Anyway, it looks like C is actually setting down here. Could he be building something off of his science facility there? They were looking for an add-on, perhaps a covert ops there or something, but I don't know, that's just insanity at this point. I think he shouldn't be fooling around because he doesn't want to give Stork a big chance to come back, and I agree, it's looking more and more like 80% here, which is kind of scary because Stork, it's just scary how well Stork can play. And oh, C's got his tanks in a really bad position here. Oh my goodness, he's got half of his force, the entire left wing has just gone down, and looks like all the zealots have gone down, so Stork will retreat, but Stork just did a lot of damage to C's army there. C still has about 8 tanks left, but he took out at least 10 tanks there, with just at the cost of maybe a dozen zealots or so, and that was very, very smart. This is what good Protoss players do on this map. They go in when the Terran is sieged like this. They go in with the entire force, but after their zealots die, they don't keep trying to go and finish off the tanks, because that's just almost impossible to do up ground, going uphill and with the tanks in such a powerful position. But looks like C once again is going to be abusing for the 3rd time this low nexus area, and Stork also retreating with his probes there. So once again, C has finally managed to get into that golden opportunity, that golden spot. Templars are out though, so could these make the difference? And if they do, Stork will make a huge, huge comeback in this game, I have to say.
Yeah, if he can get some nice storms off on that clump of tanks. I mean, usually in the later game, you see Terrans not clump up their tanks because they're afraid of those storms. Tanks are so much better when they're clumped up as far as dealing out damage, but you don't want them to be clumped up when there's zealots running in and also when there's Templar around. So it'll be interesting to see if Stork can maybe turn the tide that way. If he does manage to get a lot of Templar out and start doing some damage with those, C's going to have to counter with some late game tech of his own. Coming in, picking off one of the Templar. If he can pick off another Templar, that'd be critical. He does not pick off the second Templar. Templar running in here, and in the meantime, he has actually sent in zealots to wipe up those tanks that were attacking his Nexus. So Stork just doing an excellent job all around of saving that expansion there, and just kind of keeping C at bay. I do think C still does have the advantage because, like I said, he is only keeping him at bay, and both players have kind of taken all of their expansions at this point, which does give a little bit of an advantage to the Terran in a situation where you're at even bases. And C still kind of pushing slowly into Stork's territory. And again, C with just a bigger army as well. So C still has the advantage in this case. But Stork holding him off quite well here. It'll be interesting to see if he can do something with those Templar. Here comes another attack. Zealot's coming in here. It's going to take out the first line of tanks, but the too many vultures in the way are going to prevent him from getting any further, despite some nice storms. I don't think it's going to be able to get in there yet. Just too many layers of tanks in the background, and Stork just has too little forces. I think this is going to be it for Stork pretty soon here, because he's having to fight his battles with a skeleton crew of troops. And he's just not going to be able to keep pushing C back for very much longer, I think.
Yeah, and just to notice, I think the Koreans are also trying to show us the upgrades. C is probably close to +3, +2, +3 attack, +2 armor, whereas I think Stork's just at +1, upgrading to +2. But anyway, it looks like C is now in a great position. Once again, that position to shell the Nexus. Nexus is going to go down, so the natural expansion once again goes down for Stork, just absolutely devastating, because that's where most of his probes are, although he can transfer now to the upper left pretty safely. So Stork is going to have to save this 12 o'clock base to have any chance of making that huge comeback. C also just pushing forward, an Archon out, but critically no High Templar for Stork, and he's going to need those High Templar. He's going to need them very much to be able to deal with this. I have to commend C also for sniping off so many High Templar in this game. That was definitely very important to stop the Stork storming, and you know, this is something that Jangbi really just abuses so well in his games. You know, I don't know how the first game went with him and Nada, but he's just the master of Sonic Storm against Terran. But anyway, so we're seeing Stork trying to get himself into a bit of a position. Now his 12 o'clock is getting shelled directly. Stork was trying to go down through the southern pass, and oh, there's saturated with probes too. It's gonna be a huge loss. And there's what's his face? Artosis, right? Or am I just a noob? Yeah, waving and saying hello. But yeah, anyway, so Stork going in for the attack, and yeah, Stork might be able to clean this out, but I don't know if he will. That was Artosis, right?
I think it was. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I've only seen like one picture of Artosis, so I'm not terribly sure, but I think that might have been, yeah. But yeah, I think this is it for Stork. His 12 o'clock base is going to get cleaned up now. His army's getting pushed back from saving it. C's going to be ahead by 2 bases at this point, and Stork still not having the troops to push anything back, not having the Templar around to do anything, not having the Templar to cast a storm on that beautiful clump of tanks, unfortunately. I think that would have made my day to see it. Oh, he does have a storm after all! Beautiful storm coming out of nowhere. And Stork does manage to push back that army for the moment, actually. Wow, that was just beautiful. But I think in the long run, there's just not enough that Stork can do. And I'm not hearing anything from Cholera, so...
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I was talking, but evidently wasn't picking up. Yeah, I was going to say, that was a very heroic defense there from Stork. And, you know, this entire game has been just showing how he's taking the Protoss, you know, from a very bad position, almost coming back, just coming close. Although I think the fact that his tech was delayed actually really hurt him, because he's, of course, just got his Templar about 5 minutes ago. He should have had him a long time ago if he were, if he had the extra gas, but of course he didn't because his natural was going down. And that row of little things probably means GG or something.
I think it's like
yeah, this is going to be
crying
game here.
emoticon.
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, Stork looked very good this game. C did go for a very, very nice opening though. The fake double, I love it. I love that opening. And it certainly, I think it fooled Stork. I really don't think Stork knew it was coming. He wouldn't have gone for a fast expand had he known it was coming. And this is going to be game. But well played by both players. I think C's opening sneak attack there, his opening surprise was definitely what won the game for him. But Stork coming almost back in the game shows how much talent he has.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have stayed as long in that game as Stork could. Well, I mean, there's probably a couple other people. I'm sure Jangbi would have fared pretty well, or you know, possibly Bisu, Cal. There's a couple others, but it takes some real talent to actually stay in that game that long. And you have to hand it to C though, because almost any other Terran would have folded under that constant pressure and would have ended up losing that game as well. So well played on both sides. Definitely a really cool game there.
Yeah, so Team Passion and Team Challenge are now tied 2-2. There's Stork talking to Firebat Hero. And Firebat Hero's like, yeah, I would have won that game too. There's nothing you could have done against me. No. Anyway, so hope you guys enjoyed, and stay tuned for Game 5.
Thanks for listening.